From near starvation to an actor grinding his teeth down, here are 8 actors who went too far for a role. Number 8. Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. After his Academy Award-winning turn as the transgender Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club, Jared Leto positioned himself as one of the premier method actors in Hollywood. Beyond losing weight, Leto refused to be addressed by anything besides his character name on set. He even simulated the characters by nicking small belongings from co-star Matthew McConaughey, such as his lighters, his pocket knife, etc. The director even went as far as to say he did not actually meet Jared until months after filming had wrapped. So when Leto was cast for the Joker, Batman's biggest villain, people were intrigued. The last person to portray the Joker, Heath Ledger, won an Academy Award for his performance. People didn't know what to expect from Leto on his portrayal of the beloved character, but they knew it would be interesting. His Joker method, however, just ended up being extremely annoying to deal with. The Joker is an agent of chaos with a sick mentality. To have someone inducing this madness on a film set, where hundreds of people are just trying to do their job, turned out to be a hellish experience for the crew and fellow cast. Leto stayed in character the duration of filming, giving director David Ayers a difficult time communicating with him. If he had stopped here, it may have been forgivable in the name of art, but he went too far when he sent the entire cast the body of a hog along with an audio message. He even sent Margot Robbie a love letter accompanied by a living rat. I mean, what is she supposed to do with that? Number 7. Robert De Niro and Cape Fear. Whether they put on weight, sit through hours of hair and makeup, or shave their head, the best actors are known to commit to their role any way possible. This is just part of the business, so to an actor it's not really going the extra mile. It's not usually an immense sacrifice as weight can return to normal, makeup can wash off, and your hair can grow back. Robert De Niro is no stranger to transformation. For his role in Raging Bull, De Niro worked out tirelessly to gain the physique of a title fight contender. Then, the film took a hiatus, so he could put on 75 to 100 pounds to play the same character, old and fat. This was a remarkable transformation for a classic film, but when Bobby landed the role of Max Cody, he took physical transformation a step too far. De Niro thought his pearly whites were not convincing or frightening enough to do the terror of Katie justice. So reportedly, he paid $5,000 to have his teeth butchered. He had them purposely chipped, bent, and yellowed to capture the appearance of a villain. After filming, he paid the dentist $20,000 to have them repaired, but he could have spent all the money in the world and he wouldn't be able to undo some of the damage. Although they are back to white, De Niro will forever have to live with shaved down teeth just to add a little nuance to one film. Number 6. Tom Hanks in Castaway. There's something about Tom Hanks that moviegoers find irresistibly charming. Although he is one of America's greatest actors, it is uncommon for Hanks to stray too far from his signature curly hair and slate throat voice in a role without wearing out his welcome with the audience. He's just that good. But when he filmed Castaway, he went all in. Hanks and the director wanted to portray the story of a marooned FedEx employee as real as possible. After filming the opening of the movie, the project took a year-long hiatus so Hanks could properly ravage his body the way being stranded on a deserted island would. He lost 55 pounds for the role, weakening his immune system in the process. While filming in Fiji, he cut his leg and developed a staph infection. For 2 weeks, the bacteria tore through his defenseless body until he finally went to a doctor. Then, he was sent to the hospital for immediate surgery. The doctor determined that if he had waited just a couple hours more, the world might have lost Tom Hanks from blood poisoning. The crew then had to take an additional 3 weeks off while his body recovered. Number 5. Daniel Day-Lewis in The Last of the Mohicans. Daniel Day-Lewis is no doubt the most famous method actor in recent memory. He rose to winning an Academy Award for his portrayal of Christy Brown in My Left Foot, a role which required Lewis accomplish everything in the script using only his, you guessed it, left foot. He even refused to leave the wheelchair his character would realistically be confined to, breaking 2 ribs in the process due to the consistent contortion of his body. So when Michael Mann cast him as Hawkeye in The Last of the Mohicans, everyone, especially the ladies, were excited to see him transform into the resourceful, strapping, full-haired man based on Daniel Boone. But Day-Lewis, the son of a poet, had no wilderness or weapons experience. Over the next 6 months, he lived in the wilderness learning survival and weaponry from a Fort Bragg general who specializes in training fighter pilots shot down in enemy territory. Pretty intense stuff. He also worked with a man who treats the 18th century like a lifestyle, living outside, tracking and hunting animals for food and clothing, just like Daniel Boone did in his day. By the end of the 6th month, Lewis was one with the role, and with the wilderness his character so truly cherished, Lewis was so invested, in fact, that when filming was over, he had a hard time adjusting to normal, civilized life. This is not an uncommon byproduct of his acting method. As he has spoken in the past of a come-down period, the character he in which no part of you wishes to leave the character behind. Considering the source material, Mohicans were the hardest character to separate from. He had become so deep in the lifestyle that he started to suffer from claustrophobia, claiming that he couldn't be inside for more than an hour. He also sought medical attention for the slight hallucinations and was prescribed a cocktail of pharmaceuticals to stabilize his mind. It was not long after that film that Daniel quit acting for a period of time to study as a cobbler in France. Many believe this was motivated by the strain he put on himself under preparing for and undoing his role. Number 4. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. For some actors, the idea of taking a role too far for the sake of a performance might be non-existent. They proudly consider it part of their craft, and maybe they should. Almost everyone on this list earned an Academy Award or nomination for their work. Chief among the Descenders might be Leonardo DiCaprio, who was considered for many years to be the best actor that had never won an Academy Award. This all ended in 2016 when he finally took home the Oscar for his portrayal of Hugh Glass in The Revenant. But no matter how gold the golden statue is, it's never worth risking your life for, which Leo did multiple times while filming. The story of the frontier fur traders was filmed deep in the Canadian wilderness. DiCaprio subjected himself to extreme cold while shooting to help capture the mindset, eventually subjecting himself to hypothermia by diving into freezing rivers with little to no clothes on. He also ate raw liver and crawled inside the carcass of an animal, exposing himself to extreme bacteria. If you ask him today, he will probably tell you it was worth it. But if he had developed a serious infection or gone deep into hypothermia out there, deep in the isolated Canadian forest, there is no telling if he could have been evacuated in time to be saved. Number 3. Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky series. When you're a method actor, you are striving to emulate the exact lives of those you are portraying. If you're playing a cop, it would be a good idea to go along for a couple of ride-alongs. If you're playing a fisher, it would be good to spend a month on the open sea. If you're playing a boxer, it would be good to have ripped, menacing monsters of men repeatedly punch you as hard as they can. That's why Sylvester Stallone figured, at least during his duration as the Italian stallion, Rocky. During the first 3 films of the franchise, Sly repeatedly asked the likes of Carl Weathers and Mr. T to sincerely punch him in the face and body while filming. At one point, this caused a broken rib, sidelining the production for 5 days. But Stallone didn't learn his lesson. Since he was directing, there was no one to tell him that asking people to actually try and knock him out during filming of Rocky was a bad idea. Lundgren reportedly punched his chest so hard his heart banged up against his ribs, an injury typically reserved for car crashes. That night, his blood pressure rose to 260, and again, he was sidelined for 5 days for recovery. Number 2. Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Jared Leto pushed the cast and crew to the edge when he prepared for the Joker. For Heath Ledger, it was himself. When he was first cast as beloved antagonist, the comic movie fanbase was enraged. They saw Heath as nothing more than a pretty boy, and it was believed that no one could top multi-Academy Award winner Jack Nicholson's portrayal in the 1989's Batman. Ledger himself spoke to Nicholson, who told him not to worry too much about the role, but he did. His father relays that Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for an entire month. He tried out different voices, attempting to find something that serves the history, but also was iconic in his own right. He kept a journal in the voice of the Joker, hoping to tap into the inherent madness of the character. And he did. Audiences were blown away by the ferocity he brought to the role, earning him an Academy Award for acting. Unprecedented for a comic book movie. Unfortunately, Ledger passed away from an overdose and was not able to see the reception to his masterstroke performance. Specifically, he took a toxic cocktail of prescription medications, 6 in total. It is widely speculated but unconfirmed that some of the anxiety medications in the cocktail were prescribed for the strain his method of madness put on him. It is important to note that Ledger previously had a substance problem, promising his girlfriend Michelle Williams that he would get clean as she attempted to take him back to rehab in 2006, 2 years before his passing. But it is possible attempting to tap into the demons of the Joker may have brought out some of his own. Number 1. Christian Bale in The Machinist. These days, it seems Christian Bale can't go a movie without enduring a dramatic weight transformation. After bulking up for Batman Begins, he went skinny and frail to play a crack addict in The Fighter, then he bulked back up for the Batman sequel. Then he got fat for American Hustle, so on and so forth. Before becoming Batman, he first fluctuated his weight to play the psychologically tormented Trevor in The Machinist. To this day, this is his most dramatic transformation and one of the most insane undertakings in cinema history, coming off his role as a man who does 1,000 crunches a day in American Psycho and looks like it. Audiences were shocked to see every muscle and bone pushing out of his skin after he lost 62 pounds for The Machinist. To achieve this, he was eating 1 apple a day, and that's it. He also smoked cigarettes to curb his appetite. Bale says the process put him in a zen-like state, having seemingly abandoned the good health of his body. He felt like a being of pure thought. The weakness his starvation induced caused him to have trouble even walking up a flight of stairs. Close friends of his worried the weight loss would end him. Bale defends his transformation, stating that it's easier for him to get into character when he looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize himself. Although true, the way he achieved this for the role was just a little too extreme for health's sake. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.